So for the question number one, my answer would be yes. It's because I know that social media is really one way to exercise one's individual freedom of speech. It is because in social media they can able to express their feelings, opinion, ideas on a certain topic and issues. So for number two, as an individual who also use social media as a way of expressing my freedom of speech, I think I should consider the fact or the things I would do and say in social media that it could not be harm anyone or it could not be the reason for someone to be disrespected by the other individuals. In number three, we all know that as an individuals, all of our actions has its equivalent consequences. So, whatever the result or the consequences of our actions are in expressing our freedom.
This is for the answer of 1, 2, and 3. So, the answer of number 1, the First Amendment allows us to speak our mind and stand up for what we believe in. So, yes, as long as you understand that social media really needs a responsible and educated person in using it or manipulating it. Number 2, range of right may present possible justification for limitation on freedom of expression through the internet, including freedom from discrimination in written in Article 2 of the ICCPR, freedom from cruel and human or degrading treatment. Number 3, it depends what you mean by accountable. We should hold people accountable for everything they do or say. So that is simple justice, treat people as they deserve. However, everyone and sixth fundamental right is to be free from force initiated by others. So if people say stupid things, sure, hold them accountable, mock them, block them, criticize them, argue with them. But the only action which justify legal force are those which do or objectively lead to criminal acts against others. Holding people legally accountable for anything less would be a far greater abuse.
Well, as for me, I think people should use social media in a positive way. Each of us have the freedom to express our thoughts, feelings, and opinions in public. It depends on us on what we want to express to others, but I think we need to take a limitation. If we want to post something, all we need to do is to be aware of the consequences if it goes to public. We need to assure that there is no bad intentions that affects to others. Well, we don't know the feelings of an individual. We don't know what comes in their mind. Sometimes we hurt them without ourselves even knowing. That's why let's be sensitive with our own words. Let's practice ourselves to be a responsible individual. As long as we can handle our emotions, we don't need to post it. The best thing to do is it's better to share it with our friends, families, or people we trusted. And I'm sure that they can give an advice and what is the proper thing to do. So if we have problems, we can share it with them. That's it. Well, nowadays, internet became an extraordinary space of democratic expression for it is free open and accessible to everyone. We are living with the idea that social media must absolutely respect our liberty of expression and our right to give our opinion. As for me, we should take limits of freedom of speech in social media. Why? Because sometimes we overuse using social media on which we don't know that we actually harm other people through our actions. Sometimes we actually spread information based on our opinions without knowing the entire happen of it. So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and any social media platforms. And it has rules and regulations. So if we disobeyed those, our accounts will be reported and banned. So one must need to know how to make control over informations. We should hold people accountable for everything they do. Sometimes they post something that we mostly seen on Facebook on which there are times that they destroyed the reputation of a person, and it could be the reason why people do bad actions, illegal things such as killing and also suicidal because of cyberbullying and many more. So the reason why we are accountable is that everything happen around us, even we are involved in the issue or not, there are people will be affected, and we should avoid those. We should not let bad doings happen with our fellow humans. So, to be accountable, it means that to be responsible for and able to justify one's action. So, let's learn to control ourselves as well as our emotions so that we can live that have peace and happy life.
To answer that question, I think it's a yes because we are living in a modern time or in a modern era in which we are coping with technologies. So this means that people or individual can use social media in expressing their thoughts, their opinions on social issues that lines up on the umbrella term of freedom of speech. But we should always bear in mind that we should take responsibility to our actions. So for me, the limitation of freedom of speech in social media is the negative informations or spreading fake news. So for me, it is very important that we need to bear in mind that people has different perspectives, different beliefs, different opinions on certain issues, and we should always respect that. In my own idea or opinion, we should hold people accountable on the misuse or abuse of social media in exercising freedom of speech, because if we are going to tolerate negative actions or spreading fake news, it will lead to a complicated situations in which we ourselves can't control.